for this first little DIY I want to work on, I'm going to work with these little corks from a liquor bottle. And I immediately thought of something when I saw them, which was the inspiration for wanting to find them, but they look like little mushrooms and I think these are so adorable. I actually love that they're the sort of raw, natural colored cork on the bottom and then stained on the top. So I am going to leave a couple of them and just almost leave them completely original, but I have an idea for the other ones that I think is going to be really cute. So to do this, I'm going to take these corks. Gosh, the shape of these is so cute. And then I have some green and some red paint. I'm going to use some little eye hooks here. And then I have a couple different kinds of string or jute. I'm not entirely sure which one I'm going to use yet. I think I'll figure that out once I get to the next step. The first thing I want to do is make the color that I want to make on the top of these, and because they look like little mushrooms, I thought these would be so cute and so whimsical to paint the top little stain part red and make sort of the white polka dots of a mushroom on them. And I do want to set, I think, 3 of them aside that I'm not going to paint because I have an idea for a wreath that I want to do in the fall, and I think it will be so cute to have a couple of these in my wreath. So I'm going to use some red paint and some green paint. The reason I'm using red and green is because the red paint is really bright, basically like a Christmas or fire engine red. And it's just a regular satin acrylic paint. It's actually called engine red, and it's way too bright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the complementary color of red to be able to take this color down a notch and make it a little tiny bit brighter, which is green. So I'm just adding a little bit of green to it, and then I'm going to mix my color together. And that will make my red a little bit of a deeper shade. So rather than adding black paint to the red to make it a darker red, if you add the complementary color to the color that you're trying to mix, you can get a darker color. It is nighttime, so the lighting isn't the best in here tonight, but I was able to take this bright fire engine red and turn it into more of a whimsical kind of burgundy red to be able to make the mushrooms the color that I wanted, just by adding a little bit of green paint. It's nice that even though I'm resting over the next couple of weeks, that I can still tinker with a few small projects and just kind of keep my creative mind busy. And these are really the projects that I love to work on, being able to take items that would otherwise end up in the landfill and turn them into beautiful little somethings. And I think these are so cute. I think now that we're doing a lot of the bigger areas in our home having renovated, it's nice to be able to start adding in a few little elements that just make the house us. These are so cute. Okay, first coats are on. They're adorable. I can't wait for them to dry so I can do the second coat on them. So now that I have green mushrooms, red mushrooms, and then I left the tops of the natural one with the dark stain on the top and the very honey wood on the bottom, actually the cork on the bottom, I'm going to add the little white polka dots, which I think will make it look very mushroomy. So I'm just using a little bit of interior white house paint. The yellow ones on the brown. So cute, right? The yellow ones are going to need a second coat on their little button on the dots because it's showing through the stain a little bit, but
they're so cute.
They're adorable. Little teeny tiny little eye hooks on the top next, and then I can choose either sort of a natural jute look, or I have this sort of canvas cotton twine that I might use. and then I can string them. While I'm waiting for my mushrooms to dry, I want to work on a natural craft that I've had in my mind for a while, I haven't taken the time to do. And since I have to rest and I can't work on big projects, it was the perfect excuse to go on a little adventure around our property yesterday before we have a few days of rain and gather some of the needed materials right here from our homestead, which I think makes this DIY all that more special. And I thought this would be so cute to be able to put into some of my plants. So I picked up some bark. I picked up some bark and some moss and some different sticks from some of our favorite little plants on the property. A couple of larger sticks which we're going to use for the base of our project for this. And we're just going to create with these natural materials. I have my hot glue gun plugged in. I have my drill ready because there's a few things I'm going to do. And Philip cut me all of these cute little, I'm going to call them mini birdhouse shapes out of some sticks from our land. I think I will go neutral to start. Just get my creative juices going on what I want to do. And what I want to do, very first thing is I have a bunch of these mini pine cones, but because it's been damp and raining, they're all closed up. So I'm going to go downstairs and throw these in the oven on a piece of parchment paper for a couple of minutes and see if I can get these to awaken and kind of expand out, because I want to use all of the little pieces that come off of the pine cone. So for this first one, what I want to do is take those pine cones and cover the front of it like it has a little bit of like thatch roof, but on the actual brickwork, for example, of the little house here. So I'm going to make sure my hot glue gun is fired up, and I'm going to go get the pine cones from the oven so that I can start coating it on top. So my pine cones are fanned out quite a bit more. They're not really as fanned out as I hoped they would be, but I was afraid I was going to start burning them because I did have them in there for quite some time. So I'm going to kind of dissect them and see if I can get some of the little fans off of them, or maybe they're going to just crumble because it's really not the season for using pine cones. These would definitely have been outside for quite a while. Okay, so I have some off. So I'm just going to work my way all the way around and then just leave the little hole exposed for our door of our little mini birdhouse. Coming along as I'm getting my little brickwork done on there, I am making quite a mess, but I think it's going to look really cute in the end. I now have all of the little pine cone pieces on the front of this, and I love the texture that it added, and now I want to add my little roof here. So I'm going to kind of have it hang over the front a little bit and just use a brad nailer to stick that on. I now have a very cute little house with a moss roof. I'm going to set that one aside because I'm not sure if I'm going to add anything else to that one yet. And I want to go to another one. I really like how this one has the moss all on the side. But I'm thinking this one would be really cute if it had a little wreath or something. So I'm going to head to my natural materials and see if there's something I can make a little wreath. And this is actually some dried stick from the little bush that's right beside our porch. And I thought it could maybe be pliable enough that I could turn it into like a little kind of grapevine like wreath. So I created my little wreath here, and I'm just adding a few little dried flowers to be able to put on my wreath just to make it look a little bit homey, which I think is pretty cute. Maybe I'll just stick with the yellow ones. They're very vibrant and they look so pretty. That looks so adorable. Now I need to decide how I want to make my roof. And I thought it would be really cute if I just did a little bit of a bark roof on top. This one's a little bit big, so I'm just going to remove a piece of it and then put that on top. Pretty cute, because I don't want to do anything that's going to take away from the actual little wreath on top. There you are. I can't really glue the bark on because it has so much moisture in it, it's just not going to work. I think that one looks so cute with the moss on the side. Okay, we have a few more to do. How about we work on the one that Philip did with the little chimney? And I think his envision for this little spot here was little windows or little bottom doors, but I see little planter pots maybe outside of a little door, so I'm going to just make them little planters on the front of the house. I could do kind of a lined down the roof wood, which I think would be really cute. I'll just put them on as I go. So these are my cute little houses. And you can see all the little natural elements that I added to them. I think they're so cute. This one with the wreath is absolutely adorable with the little dried flowers on it. And I love all the textures of everything. Now what I want to do is make sure that I can get these on some little posts to actually be able to stick them into my plant pots out in the garden. So I did have some of these little dowel sticks ready to be able to use, but I also thought it would be really cute to be able to have them on sticks. And so I want to see if I can drill a proper hole to be able to have it in the bottom. That worked perfectly. Perfect fit. And then I'll be able to just use my pruners outside to make this a little bit of a pointed end, and then this can stick into my plant pot. How cute is that? I honestly think the only thing this one is missing is maybe a tiny little chimney. But how could I add that? Philip found these little river rocks in our tiny little stream in the back, and I actually think this one will work perfectly. Oh, except for the hot glue will not stick to it. Okay, I'm gonna have to use some super glue, but I think it will be so cute if I add just a tiny little chimney to the top. Okay, so I'm gonna set that one aside with this one. I like the little branch off to the side. I think that looks adorable. I don't think I'm willing to put the rest of these on these dowel sticks now that I know how cute it looks with the natural sticks. So I think I'm gonna wait for the rain to go away, and then I can stick them on some larger branches. I think those little birdhouse planter sticks are so adorable, and I actually think I'm gonna make a whole bunch more of them. I think they're so cute. Now that my mushrooms are dry, I want to transform these mushrooms into what I wanted to use them for. And ideally, I think these would look so cute, honestly, just hanging on a little knob on the pantry door, or even to have as a little accessory on a wreath or something. I couldn't resist myself. I really love the yellow on the dark brown. They look super vintage, and the green, perfect touch. And then of course you can't not make the standard kind of a red and white mushroom. But what I'm gonna do now is take some of these tiny little eye hooks, and I'm going to try to get them into the top. Should work pretty easily because really ultimately in the middle it's cork. Ooh, that one went in pretty good. And sometimes I just like to take a pokey object to help spin them around. And I always look for the little gold eye hooks when I go to the store because you know I like to make them gold. I'm really not a silver person. So adding little details like this to our house, I always make sure that I can get things that are cohesive. And so I always pick the gold, little brass gold looking colored ones. So today, in between working on a couple of these projects, because I'm ultimately resting most of my days right now since having my surgery, I just wanted to get outside for a couple of minutes and get some fresh air since it stopped raining for just a few minutes. So we drove up the road where we actually found a barn sale where we found a bunch of really fun treasures. So stay tuned for tomorrow's video because I'm going to upcycle some of the thrifted finds that I found at this barn sale. And all of the items that I picked up were 10 cents, 25 cents, and 50 cents. Can you believe it? So stay tuned. You don't want to miss that because I'm going to trash to treasure my thrift side finds tomorrow at this oceanside little barn sale that we found. Just enough of these left without having to go to the store. My goal over the next couple of weeks while resting is using what I have and just being able to create and do some fun projects to keep myself creatively stimulated and also be able to still be with my YouTube family. I now have the cutest little whimsical hanging door frame hanger. I think this is perfect. I made sure that the loop was big enough to put on the top of a doorknob or to hang on, say, a pantry knob or something. But I think they're so cute. I think think this little whimsical door hanger is absolutely adorable, and I now have enough corks already to be able to make a couple more sets, which I think will be a lot of fun for me and the boys to put together, especially since it's raining all week. I think it's just nice to have a few little things to work on. I hope that the DIYs in this video inspired you to use what you have, make DIYs on a budget, and even find some recyclables and things you can upcycle right in your own home without having to buy anything. You can really turn nothings into beautiful somethings, which I hope I've shown you today during this video. I love you, and thank you so much for always supporting me. I know that we're doing some DIYs and back to some of our trash to treasure this week, actually over the whole course of this month. So stay tuned if you enjoy that content. If you're new here and you like these creative projects, please hit subscribe. And I will see you on tomorrow's episode where you get to see me transform any of the items that I picked up for 10 cents, 25 cents, and 50 cents at this barn sale. It was absolutely amazing. And it was oceanside, which was beautiful, even though it was a foggy, rainy day. And I will get to show you those creations on tomorrow's episode.